So it seems like 2026 is looking like it's Putin's year. His military, his weapons in Iran that, or his style of warfare that Iran is using Russian military methods and types of missiles and decoys, which are inexpensive and very agile. To sound like a Formula One car, they're very agile, are actually and nimble, are actually draining the U.S.'s military in the Middle East. And on top of that, the Strait of Hormuz has been blocked, and this is great news for Russia because now that gas prices are rising, Russian oil and gas will be will be on demand by everybody. Russia's already told India that they're going to have to pay more. But now what we want to talk about is a very uh, ironic situation that's happened with Europe. In February, the EU finalized the RE Power EU 26 mandate, 2026, making it illegal to import Russian gas past 2027. So what they were saying is that after 2027, you can't import any Russian gas. We know that there are sanctions on Russian gas, any of them. They did this just before the start of the war. I don't know if Europeans are stupid or they thought that they would have an easy victory in Iran. But now what's happening is that because the Strait of Hormuz is blocked, Europe is going to need Russia's gas right now. So they say, oh, no problem. We'll ban them in 2027. But Putin is saying, why don't we just go ahead and stop selling to you now? Don't worry about the 2027 deadline. You know, they said it's a 2020. So Putin is openly saying, let's do it right now. And the timing is perfect because if he stops selling natural gas to Europe right now during the middle of this Iranian crisis, the cost of gas and stuff like that might go up by 200% in Europe. So it's just like saying, oh, Europe, don't worry, I'll speed it up for you. You can do your sanctions now. You don't have oil now. All of this to have Russia. This has been a month for Putin. He's seen the U.S. Army drain itself and get kicked out of the Middle East, and now he holds the most valuable thing in the world right now, which is Russian natural gas. Since the Strait of Hormuz and desist from their war in Ukraine and give real security guarantees and take off all sanctions from Russia and probably give them back the money they seized, or he will block them because he doesn't need to sell it to them. He'll sell his gas to Iran, China, and the rest of the world. What are your thoughts, Afolabi?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's now a massive energy windfall for Russia. Now that the Gulf oil and gas is taking off the global market as a result of the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, Russian energy is now extremely in high demand. In fact, I dare say the European countries themselves are unilaterally thinking of, removing the sanctions to allow them import from Russia because of the crisis and the scarcity. So right now, in global oil politics, Russia has all the aces in their hands, as well as gas as well. And Putin is capitalizing on this energy crisis, by actually saying he would sell to Europe, but it would be strictly under his own conditions. And there has to be some long-term
Mm-hmm.
guarantees that none of this kind of relationship will not be politicized. Especially following the sanctions that were, laid upon them following the invasion of Ukraine.
Yeah.
Is using the US aggression against Iran as justification for his own actions, arguing that if US can attack Iran, they have no right to condemn Russia's actions in Ukraine.
Yeah, and here's what he's doing. This is beautiful because Europe wanted to slowly to do a controlled demolition of dependence on gas for Russia. So what they want to do is give them 3 years to adapt rather than banning Russian oil altogether. Give them 3 years, and then by the end of 2027, they would have found other sources. But what Russia is doing now is saying, no, we're going to say right now we stop selling it to you, which leaves them in a precarious situation because they're not ready to get off. It's sort of like a baby. You don't just take a baby off of his mother's milk.
Sure, sure, sure.
You have to wean him off of the milk.
Yeah,
They're
it
going to be
has to
like, no,
be.
you need it now. But here's the best part. Putin knows Europe's gas storage is dangerously low right now. They only have 29.7% capacity. By cutting them off during the Iran crisis, he forces a total industrial collapse in Germany,
Meaning
Italy,
that they don't
before
have
their.
a choice. They don't have a choice,
I
really.
what he is doing is it's called a preemptive strike. You're
Yes.
going to strike by banning me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away my gas now. And I'm beginning to wonder what the educational system is in Europe. I'm going to ask people. I hope Europeans are watching our show because I wonder why you're in favor of your government putting bans on Russian gas when that's what feeds you. That's what feeds you guys to watch TV, to eat, to watch porn, to buy stuff. Is from Russia. So I'm wondering in Europe, do you guys have a good educational system? I know I'm black and black America, we're supposed to be dumb, but you guys are dumber than bricks, man. Fucking dumb. How the hell do you look at your leaders fucking cut off their source of energy, which keeps you warm at night? I'm from Africa. I don't got to worry about being warm. You guys are the stupidest fools I've ever seen on Earth, man. You're dumb. You look what US, they got sucker punched into a war. You're dependent on gas over there, and you're talking about doubling down and attacking Iran. Iran, which provides your cheap oil and gas. Then on top of that, when you lose that, you want to walk away from Russia, which is your last hope. So please let me know if you're from Europe. Drop in the comments to let me know what's going on with your educational system. I'm wondering because you guys are building up idiots here who aren't very strategic. What are your thoughts so far, Abby?
Yeah,
Go. What
you're
are your thoughts?
absolutely right about that. In fact, they're not, the
Man, I'm not being
European
funny either.
countries,
These guys are stupid.
they're actually very stupid. European countries are not even going to wait for anybody to ask them to lift sanctions. Denmark is already talking to Russia that they can't cope with the choke that is being caused by the scarcity of fuel. Denmark wants to do business with Russia. And you can remember how
Hmm.
Trump was talking about Greenland some time ago. So they're beginning to understand the way
Oh
the
yeah,
West works. That these guys are just, they're just in
Denmark's
for it.
revenge.
Yes, they're just selfish. They use you and they dump you at the end of the day. What was the whole idea of putting
Hmm.
sanctions on Russia if US was going to do this kind of thing to Iran? I mean, their eyes are clearing real time, online real
Hmm.
time. They understand what the US is all about now. So they're not
And,
going to
and
wait for the US to take decisions. They are going to unilaterally take decisions that is for the greater good of their economy. They are going to be forced to do business with Russia, whether they like it or not. And it's going to be on Russian terms.
yeah, that's what we call real. The world works by real politics. All real politics means forget about ideology, forget about I love, I hate you. It's all transactional and practical.
Sure.
And Russia and Europe will become practically have to become friends because they're going to need Russia's gas, and also leave Iran alone because if you fuck with Iran, it's going to affect the whole world economy. Plain and simple. All right, I follow. Be nice one. Take us out.
It's been another brilliant show. I've been discussing the crisis in the Middle East and how it's become bitterly impossible to access fuel and how Russia now holds all the aces when it comes to crude oil and petrol and gas in the whole world and how Putin can be strategic in mediating the crisis between Iran and US. And for Mustafa, we're back again for Global Politics. My name is Tila Falabi. Bye for now.